this index.jsp, okay, or this profile.jsp, let's say. This index.jsp will have, I am commenting this line. I don't know whether I will be able to comment or not. This will not get commented. So I am.
Why we use a JSP over HTML?
Sorry?
Why we use a JSP over HTML?
Because here I can write Java codes also. I told you, na, JSP is equal to HTML plus Java code. Okay. It is allowing us to access Java code. That's fine. Got it? So I will define a form. I will define a form here. See, this is not here. My working with JSP will be a little difficult because this is a community edition, and this is very this IntelliJ that we are working with. It actually allows only core Java application to be created. But with the help of Smart, Tomcat, and Maven, we are creating web app application also. But then to get more support, they are saying that JSP file are supported by IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate version. But we cannot go for Ultimate version because it's a paid version. Got it? So here I cannot go for any shortcut. I will have to type everything. So name, one input field, or no pressing tab, nothing will work. Type is equal to text. Okay. I guess that's enough. Okay, then email ID. Then again input type is equal to email. Okay, then contact. Input type is equal to thank you. Look. Nah, then there is a input button type is equal to submit and value submit. Okay. So can you see when we work on JSP page without rerunning also, we can see the changes. Okay. If we're making changes related to HTML. So you can see here, this is a form it is showing to me. Okay. To make it look a little bit better, I will add the break line. Okay. So refresh it. It's coming like this. Okay. Anyways, now what? When I will click on this button, what should happen? It should go to. Swapnil, do you have anything to ask?
Ma'am, we can use Angular material as well here.
Yeah, we can use, but for that we will learn in a different way. Right now we will work the traditional approach of making Spring MVC. Then there will be a lot of changes. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Now what we want, that when I will click on this submit button, this data should go to my profile.jsp. It should not be, okay, let's say it will be visible. Okay, it will be visible. Okay, so what we will do, first of all, in the index.jsp, how will I mention that clicking on this button, where it should go? How will I mention? How you used to do it in Angular? You used to do it in different way, but here we will do action. In the form tag, we will add one attribute action, and where I will say it should request for profile. Okay? It should request for profile. Let's save.
Ma'am, this tag
Let's
is
see.
coming in Angular also, ma'am. Default. By default, it's coming. This tag is
Yeah,
not-
we can. We were going to the profile page successfully. Yes, we are. Okay, but the data are not getting passed. Okay, whatever data we will be submitting here, see whatever data I will going to give here. Okay, this is at the rate g.c. Submit. The data are not visible here. So we will have to do what? The first step that we will have to do is in every input element, we will have to add name attribute. Okay, so I will have to, in every input element, I need to add the name attribute. So here I will give name, here it will give email, here I will give contact. Okay, fine, save. Then I'm going back and refreshing it, and I'm going to fill up some data. Okay. Okay, submit. Can you see all those data reflecting in the URL? Can you see
Yes,
that?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what is exactly happening here on the get request? On get request, the data will reflect where? In the request line. Okay, let's change. Go back. Here I am writing method is equal to post. Okay, first of all, it will give me error, but still I'll try once. Refresh this.
It was reflecting on the URL because of default property get.
Yes, because default method is get request, correct. Now it is giving error, that's fine, but you cannot see any information. You cannot see the information. Why? Because my request method my request method is what? It is a post type. So where are all these data? They are in the request body. Where are they? They are in the request body. Am I clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So step by step I am going. Okay. So if something is confusing, though, you please tell me. So I will go again. I will refresh. And we need this and submit. It's showing. Now how this request is finally going where? To the controller. So how my controller is going to read this data? So my controller will read this data with the help of request parameter. Okay. So here I will say string name, comma, string, email, comma, string. Right now it will be string only, contact. At the rate, I will annotate all the parameter with @request param. I will annotate them with request param. So here it will be name. Similarly, what is the name of the key? See, there's a key value pair. Name is equal to Mihir, email is equal to this, and contact is equal to this. So I need to write these key values here in this annotation. So here I will give again second parameter @request param, email, then again @request param. Okay, it's not fitting in. Minimize. Contact. Okay, fine. All. Now what we will do, I am going to print them. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to print them. So S out, name variable is getting displayed. Email, contact. Since I'm making changes in my Java file, I will have to read that. That's it. Right click, clear all. Nothing. Submit. See, all the values received. Okay. All the values which I have passed from my form is received. So what is the work of request parameter? In my request line, or what we call it start line, in that start line, if some parameters are there, so those parameters we can retrieve at Java side with the help of request param annotation. Clear?
Yes.
So what exactly?
To capture
From-
input request param is used.
Yes, from this is the requested URL, right? This is the requested URL against which this method is being called, right? So it is looking for name parameter. The value of that it is storing in this name variable. It is looking for email parameter, and the value of that email is getting stored in this email variable. It is looking for contact parameter in the requested URL, and it is saving its data. It's retrieving its data into this contact variable. Clear?
Ma'am,
Yes.
that means it also securing our data, no?
Sorry?
It also securing our data, no?
Securing? No. How come your data is reflecting on the requested URL? Then how come it is securing? Not at all. You should go for
Ma'am, why
post.
@ symbol convert to percentage?
@ symbol. That is how they are, how the HTTP protocol is used, is passing. That is the protocol. We cannot do anything about it. Okay, but here it is again getting back to @ only. See? Is the use of request param is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise hand. Everyone, if it is clear, if it is not clear, don't raise hand. Let me understand which point of this request param is not clear. There are many annotations coming. So we will go step by step and understand each and every one. 22 people have raised hands. So let me understand what happened to the other people. Yes, Shubham, Siddharth, Soumya. What happened?
Yes, ma'am, wonderful. Sorry, I think that's it.
Siddharth. Siddharth, are you there? Anyways, so I hope this is clear. The request param is clear. Now what? So request param is used with request mapping to bind the web request parameter to the parameter of the handler method. The methods which are inside the controller, what are we calling it? Handler method. Request param annotation can be used with or without a value. The value specifies the request param that needs to be mapped to the handler method. Okay, there are some reference sites given, you can follow it. Now what next? Now this producible, consumable, we will not understand right now. You will understand later. Request method, I have already discussed about request methods, different type of method. Okay. Yeah. Now, before understanding this also, I want. So request mapping shortcuts, get mapping, post mapping, this also I have discussed. Okay. Request body. We will understand request body. Request body is annotation to have the request body read and deserialized into an object through HTTP message converter. So what are we going to do? Whatever data they will pass, we will it will read that and it will convert it into one object type. It will convert it into object type. This we are going to use a lot in future, so I am not spending time in that right now because I want to go somewhere else. So some other points, so we'll discuss that. Before that, please answer this. Which servlet is used to dispatch the request for processing to the other components of the application? In the chat box, you are going to select my name and give the answer to me. I'm waiting for the answer. What happened to others? Question is visible to you. Please answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Only. Okay. So many learners are there. Why I have received only 10 answers? Naveen, what is request this? What is request dispatcher interface? No, Priyanka, you just need to say no request dispatcher, guys. Just say dispatcher servlet. The answer is dispatcher servlet. Okay, fine. So we are reaching towards the end. I'm starting from here. So now we will start working with the model. So let's start. So Spring MVC model object. Pojo or plain old Java object is a normal Java class that does not serve any other special role, nor does it implement any special interfaces for any of the Java frameworks. Models encapsulate the application data. In general, they are created as Pojo. So what is Pojo? Basically, their job is to represent the structure of our model of our application, that is data of our application. So they are giving one such example here. Let's say this is your Pojo class. Okay. Now, there is something known as model attribute. Model attribute is an annotation that binds a method parameter or method returned value to the named attribute and then expose it to a web view. To understand this, you will have to go through one demo. So let me take you to a demo and explain you all these things. Okay. So here, now this demo is already ready-made available to me. I have going to explain that. You know now how to create a Spring web application. Okay. Spring Web application. So you should be able to understand this. So this is my web application where you can see there is main, there is web apps. Okay. In the web app, I have web.xml. Here my dispatcher servlet name is ABC. So my file name is abc-servlet.xml. In the views, I have something known as index.jsp and list.jsp. So we will go to the Java, and in the Java, we have three packages. You see, one is controller, one is model, one is repository. Controller is having one news controller where many handler methods are present. Okay. Then there is a model news, okay, whose getters and setters and toString is defined. No, nothing, no annotation, no @ entity or anything, okay. And there is one news repository. So let's understand this. Let me run this code first. Okay. Let me run it on a different server, 8081. And what is happening that you understand first. Then I will tell you and explain you the annotations. Okay, let's see what is the problem. What is the problem? What is the already means 8081 edit configuration.
One is not pressed, ma'am.
Right. With this way. Okay, fine. Let me close the other application. Stop this. Or even. So this is the application, okay, where I can give some ID to the news ID, some news title, okay, and the category is domestic, okay. So when I am doing and clicking on submit, what is happening? It is saving that data and taking me to this page, taking me to another view where I can see the saved data. When I go to the back to home, let me enter some other news. Okay. International submit. Then you can see my other news is also getting saved and displaying in the next page. Back to home, it is taking me to the previous page. So this entire application we will understand, and using this application, we will understand the importance of all the annotations, or how are we sharing data, or how this application is created. If you understand this application, then your entire content will get completed here. So let's start. So the way we have, for my previous project, how we have defined the dispatcher sublet, it is defined the same way. Dispatcher sublet is having the same components tag and view resolver. Okay. Inside the views folder, I have two pages. One is index.jsp and one is list.jsp. In index.jsp, lot of things I have added, as you can see. First of all, doc type is HTML head. In the head, viewport added because I am implementing Bootstrap. I have implemented Bootstrap here. So here the Bootstrap CSS, here the font of the Bootstrap. Okay, and somewhere down I have added all the JavaScript of the Bootstrap. Do you remember Bootstrap, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will share this one. All these required things I will share with you. Okay. So if I want to use Bootstrap with my normal HTML, then I need to add the Bootstrap CSS and I need to add all the JavaScript references for the Bootstrap. So I have done those. And that's why it has become so, complicated file. But along with that, because it's a JSP page, I am adding these two lines, which will help me to access all the Java objects in my HTML code. Okay, so I will share this. This you don't have to understand that much. Just remember that I will have to add this in my JSP page.
And it's
Okay.
to add because
Sorry?
when
Yeah.
these two lines we have to add because
Yes, at the top. At the top.
why, ma'am, why?
Why? First, I am saying that this is a JSP page, which language I am supporting, Java, but the content type is HTML. What is the character set? There is a concept of expression language, which almost looks like your Angular had that interpolation. Do you remember in interpolation in your Angular? It behaves like that, means all the Java objects, yes, all the Java objects values will be displayed here with the help of this expression. With this expression, I will write the Java variable name. 1 minute, huh? Java variable name I will mention here. Okay, Java variable name I will mention. So to allow all this thing, I need to add this directive. We call it directive. To write, let me comment it here. Okay, to write basic Java construct or basic Java logic. Okay, I need some special tags. Tags means like head tag, like meta tag, like division tag. I need some tags. Those tags, the definition or the working of those tags are defined in this URL. So that's why I am referring it. Understood now? What are the use of these two lines?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We will go to the controller. In the controller, I have a class which is annotated with @controller. Now here I'll be working with my Spring. So here in the resources, there is a beans.xml. In the beans.xml, I have added 2 beans. Okay, 2 beans. 1 beans means when this program will run, it will create in the Spring container. Spring container, it will create 2 objects. First will be the object of news class. The properties of that object will be initialized with default values. Second object will be the object of news repository class. Okay. The properties of this class also will be initialized with default value. What is the property of a class? Can you tell me? Like I have a class student. Okay, let me take you to this class. Can you tell me what are the properties here?
News
News
ID,
ID, news title.
news title.
Yes. Okay.
Text news category.
So the member variables, the instance variables, right? We call it instance variables, member variables. So those are properties. So I am saying to the Spring that you create the object of these 2 classes and keep it ready. Whenever I need, I will ask it from you. Okay. Then I am going to the controller class. In my controller class, I need to connect with my IOC container. So for that, I am using application context. When you were learning Spring in the beginning, if you remember, we said that dependency injection needs one container, one external body, which will maintain the set of objects. Okay. That external body, we call it a IOC container that can be implemented with the help of one is beans. What is the class name? And one is application context. I'm not able to remember the class. To refer to your XML file, which class have you used in the first demo of Spring? Guys, I'm asking you, you have done the Spring demo now? To refer to the beans.xml file, which class you have used?
File XML system.
Okay, but then what was the type of the object reference?
Application context.
It was and
We have to use one more annotation application context.
no. There is one more class. Anyways, so since you have worked with application context, I'm working with the application object where I am creating the object of class path and I'm giving the name of my XML file where my bean definition are stored. Bean definitions are stored. So I'm writing the comment. IOC container. Okay, fine. Now using that context, so context has the reference of beans.xml. Okay, so context.getBean. So from the IOC container, I am asking to inject the bean. Bean is the object. Please try to understand. You will always in your mind visualize bean with the object. So we are saying that from the IOC container that you inject me this bean. Which bean? The name of the bean is news. And the type of that bean is news.class. So what IOC container will do? It will go to the beans.xml. Which bean having name as news? This bean. That is object of news class. So this object, which is already available with IOC container, that object reference will be passed here. Similarly, injecting, instead of creating the object of model class directly, I am getting injected it from the IOC container. Is these two lines clear to all of you? These three lines.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
First, referring to my file. Okay, referring to the IOC container. Then here from there, I am asking for the object whose name I have given in my beans.xml and asking the injected and store the reference of that bean in this object reference variable. Now this is a constructor which is just printing employee controller instantiated. Maybe I was working with employee controller, news controller instantiated. Okay. Now below handler method will be called. I have given. Will be called when on which request? When you are requesting HTTP localhost 8080/application name/. Okay, application name/. Then this method will execute and it is going to return the view name as index. So it is going to the index. Okay, fine. It is going to the index, which is index.jsp. Now, what index.jsp has? I have just simply selected a division. See here, it's a jumbotron. You know what is jumbotron? In the bootstrap, you have jumbotron. This part, this gray color part. This is a jumbotron. So this for styling. This is a jumbotron. Just for a smiling. So division jumbotron added, nothing else. Here I have added few comments. There's a form. The method is post. Action is save news. Model attribute is news. It means what? This form is associated with one object whose name is news. Okay. Inside this form, I have in each division, I have one input. In each division, I have one input. If you want me, I can remove it, but then it will destroy my style. Okay, it will destroy my style. So I want to make it a very, minimum stylish form. So I am keeping the bootstrap. It's nothing. I have just copied from the bootstrap site, where in each division there is a label and there is one input element. Type is text. ID is news ID. What is main here is name attribute. Name attribute is main. Okay. So news is an object of news class which has 4 properties: news ID, news title, news text, news category. So I am in this form, I am attaching every form with with each properties of my object. So name is equal to news ID, name is equal to news title, name is equal to news text, name is equal to news set. Is this part is clear? Here I am mentioning the object name. Here I am mentioning the attribute name. This class is bootstrap class. This is to make the form, what do you say? Semantic tags, if you remember, you have learned semantic tags. Okay, so that. Now finally submit button. So when I will click on submit, where it will go to this URL, save news. So which handler method is associated with save news? This handler method. Now this handler method is accepting one object of news class and it is accepting one object of model. But this news object is going to be a populated object. So, again, I will just reiterate this. Bit lengthy, I can understand. I will reiterate. I'll keep reiterating, so don't worry. So we'll go to the index.jsp page. In the index.jsp page, this page is associated with one object news. Okay, it is associated with the data news, whose attributes are these. So its method is post. So when I'm submitting this form, my entire data is going in the request body. So the data which is receiving, who is going to receive it? The handler method, which is written as with against this URL. So we'll go to the handler method. So it's a post mapping. So it means what? That it is going to receive some data on the request body. I am telling it that you take that data and you convert it into news class object. Take that data and convert it in news class object. How? Who is telling it? The model attribute is telling it. And that is why they said, see the definition of model attribute. That binds a method parameter or method return value to a named model attribute and then expose it to a web view. Means from the web view, from a view, you are receiving some data in the request body. That data will convert it into Java class object. Am I clear? See, here I have written below handler method will be called on this request. First of all, the model attribute request will contain news data in its request body that will be converted to Java object of type news. Of type news means it will convert it into news class object. The form data is getting converted into news class object. So far, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, why do I need model map? So let's go to the model map. This is model attribute. Okay. Just only this much is a model. See, first understand model. The model can supply attributes used for rendering views. Means from Java code, if you want to pass some data to your JSP page, then I need minimum model class. If you don't want to work with model class, you can also work with the model map. Other than model map, what we have? We also have model and view. So these three interfaces will help me to pass my data from the code to the JSP page. Here I am using model map. Okay. So first, let's understand what are we doing here. So I am saying model map helps in sending data from controller to view. Done. This is just to make you guys understand. If you see here, if I go and right click and clear all, okay, I'll go here in the application and let me add some okay. Let me show it to you. Something is there, nothing. Submit. Okay. Now let's go here. Let's go here. Taking to the save news page. Taking to the save news page, and it is printing the object that I have passed from the form to the controller. Okay, it is printing that object. See, I have printed, simply I have said print the news object. Just print the object. So when we try to print any object, which method gets executed? ToString, correct. So ToString is getting executed and it is printing all the properties. Now this dot new repository, I have a class new repository which has add news method to which I am passing the same. So let's go to this add news method, go to implementation. So this is my add news method. So let's see this class. I am not saving my data in the database, by the way. I have simply done what? I have made one list. In this class, there is a list, news data. Okay. When Spring container, when Spring will be loading the object of this class, it will create this list. Okay, constructor. Then in the add news, whichever object it is receiving, it is simply adding into this list. It is simply adding that object into that list. That's it. That's it. It is doing this much. So I'm not actually saving the data in the database. Rather, I am saving it in the application only. If I stop this application, all these data will go away. So once it saves the data in the list, we'll go back. The control will come here. Now see here, model.add attribute. What exactly I am doing? In this model map, I am adding one key, news list. In this key, see, whenever it is key, K-E-Y, key, means I need to save some data into it, key value pair. So the value that will save under this key is nothing but a list of objects. How will I get it? Again, from the news repository class, I am calling get news data. So what get news data will do? Go to implementation. Get news data will simply return this list. That's it. It will simply return the list. So it will return that list, and that list of objects are stored in the news list. And then I am passing it where? I am passing it to the next view, that is list. So where will it go? It will come to the list.json. So here I will stop first. Did you understand till here, or should I repeat the entire flow?
It is confusing.